The year was 1960. John F. Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson had just won the United States presidency with one of the smallest margins in history. Hugh Hefner opened the first of his Playboy clubs in Chicago. The Flintstones is shown on television for the first time, and the Cold War was getting colder than ever as the U.S. sends its first troops to Vietnam. But for the 13-year-old Dellwood McGinty, the world had just come crashing down on him. It was late November and deep in the night when he was awoken to a short but blood-curdling scream. Dellwood threw off his corduroy sleeping blanket, jumped down from the back of his father's flatbed, and raced toward the smoldering remains of a campfire a few dozen yards away. It was there he found his father, Reginald, lying on the ground, gasping for air in a massive and growing pool of his own blood. In the darkness, the faint flickers of flame only partially illuminated the silhouettes of three men quietly running off into the night. Turning back to his father, Dellwood was horrified to see an object lodged in the side of his neck, but there was too much blood flowing from the wound to make out what it was. His father tried to speak between gasps, but the wound had partially severed his vocal cords. Dellwood was helpless. They were miles from any town. In fact, Dellwood didn't really know where they were at all, only that they were somewhere in the Sandia foothills outside Albuquerque. The only thing he could do was try to comfort his father in the last few moments of his life. Dellwood sat down, put his father's head on his lap, and fell to pieces. The sun began to rise over the hills, giving form and color to the artichoke agave and prickly pears that dotted the dusty landscape around him, when Dellwood knew what he had to do. There was little sense in trying to find help since his father was already dead, but also quite well known as a grifter, con man, and a drunk, and had more than his fair share of run-ins with the law in nearly every part of the state. Any sheriff or deputy would likely dismiss the incident in a got-what-he-deserved shrug. The footprints from the men fleeing during the night only led to tire tracks from whatever vehicle they used to make their getaway and vanished into the dry distance. There was no use. As Dellwood struggled to lift his father's lifeless body onto the flatbed, in the light of day it became clear what the object in his throat was. He mustered the courage to remove it.